The Rorschach test is an image projection test that was developed in 1921 to determine if a patient has a mental disturbance. Now, the test has its basis in the way schizophrenic people view ambiguous images. Recently, psychologists have not used the Rorschach test because it is very controversial, and the controversy lies within the way that the test ascertains results. Now, the results that the test has, they do determine if some people have mental disturbances, but that isn't very accurate. There are normal people who have the same test done by the same physician, and they get the same results as someone who does have a mental disorder like depression or schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, what have you. Now, another reason why psychologists don't use the Rorschach test is because there are other tests out there that are far more accurate in determining whether a patient is sick and how much care they need, if they need care at all. Also, the Rorschach test has kind of become an at-home solution. There are many websites you can do. You can go on and you can take the test, and later in the video I'm going to show you one of those. Also, the Rorschach test is very controversial because of the way society views mental health. There's a very negative stigma surrounding mental health in our society. Now, psychologists don't use the Rorschach test today, like I said, because there are far more accurate methods of finding out if a patient needs help or not. The main reason psychologists don't use the Rorschach test is because it's just flat out inaccurate. Even though, like the Garb article suggests, there are methods like the comprehensive system that were supposed to streamline the way the Rorschach test was administered, and it was supposed to streamline the results so that it was more valid in the psychology field, but even tests like that, even administering the test in that way, doesn't always provide accurate results, leads to misdiagnosis if the results are not accurate. And there's a woman named Margaret Park who suffered from being misdiagnosed herself. And the reason her story is so touching is because she was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder, and then she moved to another city and her chart was changed, and the doctors changed her condition from bipolar 2 disorder to bipolar 1 disorder, which completely changed how Miss Park was being treated and the kind of medicine that she was on. And they didn't listen to her when she said that the medicine wasn't helping her and she felt like something was wrong. Even her doctors played into this stigma. Someone with a mental disability, they need to be at home, they can't be out in public, they need to file for disability. Another article that really illuminates the way that mental stigmas are portrayed in our society is an article written by West and some other psychologists that says that 70% of Britons believe that people with schizophrenia are dangerous, and that's just a common misconception. Some of them can be dangerous, but some of them are also not dangerous at all. How do these stigmas get reinforced? Well, a main reason is the media, because there are articles out there that are sensationalized, and instead of blaming the person for their actions, the articles blame the disease more than they blame the person. And a prime example of this is an article written by Christy Johnson just recently in 2011, and I'll read you a direct quote from the article. It says, "Took a kitchen knife and stabbed the 18-year-old in the face and neck until the blade was so bent it was useless." This quote from the article is so sensationalized. You don't need to know that the blade was so bent it was useless to understand that what he did was wrong and it was a heinous act. This sentence itself depicts how sensationalized the article is and how it doesn't talk at all about the kind of care the defendant was on, or if he was having any care at all treating his disease. It just says that he was a schizophrenic man and that he killed someone. I think instead of the media sensationalizing the negative aspect of mental health, I think the media should be able to further increase social cognition to create a better understanding about mental health for everyone. I think a prime example of something in the media that is useful for mental health and just health in general is a website like WebMD. And I also found a website that it has a whole bunch of online psychological tests that you can take, but they're not used for, determining if you have a disease. They're used to educate you on that disease, Each one of the tests on the website has a disclaimer and some background information on the test that you're going to take. I think that these tests can be paired with psychologists to increase society's social cognition about mental stigmas and decrease the discrimination. So in conclusion, while the Rorschach test is not very prevalent in today's psychology field, I think that with the increase of web services like WebMD or the online Rorschach tests that I took myself, I think that the Rorschach test could become just one of many seemingly outdated psychology tests that could be used to further increase society's social cognition about mental health and the stigmas to lower the discrimination that we have.